Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock, Drogheda. I've got a box of matches here. Very simple object. We don't use matches very much these days, I guess, because everything seems to be electric. We do light a fire sometimes, a real coal fire in our fireplace still, but fewer and fewer people are doing that, of course. Something about matches, I remember when I was a kid at school, I actually set the back of my trousers on fire. I had a box of matches and they were sitting in my back pocket, and I was in the chemistry lab at school. I was a smoker. That's why I had the matches with me, and I sat down with these matches in my back pocket, and they were the old red-headed matches, not the brown-headed safety matches. And as I sat down on the matchbox, all those red phosphorus heads rubbed together, and the whole matchbox ignited in my backside. And I tell you what, I was running about that lab yelling, and the whole class just descended into chaos and pandemonium. But years ago, matches used to be obviously essential for so many things in life. You know, I'm talking about the 19th century. I'm talking about when everybody had to light fires to keep warm. They had to light gas lamps for lighting, candles. And so matches were quite an essential household item. And back then, there were two kinds of phosphorus that were used in match factories. And the cheapest kind was called yellow phosphorus. And it basically was extremely dangerous and toxic. And the workers that worked in the match factories with this yellow phosphorus, they developed a disease called phossijore, because the phosphorus got into their hands and got into their food, and therefore into their mouths and their faces, and it caused great deformities and eventually even caused death. And this was really a terrible occupational disease among workers in match factories. And it could have been avoided by simply using the red phosphorus in the matches. But the match factory said, no, that would make matches too expensive. People wouldn't buy them, so we're going to keep doing it this way. And then the Salvation Army got involved. William Booth's Christian organization purchased a derelict factory and turned it into a match factory, producing matches which were slightly higher priced, but which used the much safer red phosphorus. And at that time, Booth had been protesting against the dreadful conditions of poverty and depravity in working class England, particularly in London. And he had written a famous book called In Darkest England and the Way Out. And he called his matches Lights in Darkest England. And he got sympathetic retailers to stock them because of the fact that they were bettering the conditions of the workers. And actually they became hugely popular. In fact, they became so popular that the other match factories had to follow suit. They stopped using the dangerous yellow phosphorus and began to use the red phosphorus as well. So given that William Booth had managed to build up the Salvation Army as the leading manufacturer of a household staple, how come we don't see Salvation Army matches today? Well, the reason is because they closed down their match factory. Once other factories began producing matches in a way that was safer for workers, the Salvation Army felt they had done their job, and so they closed down their match factories. But for me, every time I see a box of matches, I'm always reminded of that part of the history of the Salvation Army, that this Christian organization did something intensely practical to change an injustice that was blighting people's lives. And I believe that today, as Christians, we still have an onus upon us to, wherever there is anything that is blighting people's lives, that we need to be prepared to stand up for truth and stand up against exploitation of the poor and stand up for injustice. Now, you may not have the wherewithal to be able to set up a match factory or its equivalent today, but I do believe that the Holy Spirit will show us ways that we can take a stand against the darkness and shine the light of Jesus Christ, just as William Booth and the Salvation Army did all those years ago with their match factories. May God bless you today as you serve him, and may he give you opportunities to bless others, particularly those who are suffering from injustice or poverty and need a special helping hand. May God bless you to have your eyes open to them today. And please join us again tomorrow for another Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Drogheda.